So this was an entirely routine operation into gun running?
There's no such thing as an entirely routine operation.
But you've done it before?
Infiltrate the Turkish mafia, no. Take on a false identity to get closer to a target, of course I have.
Can we talk a little bit more about that false identity? For this operation, you were called Sophie, is that right?
Sophie Newman.
You speak German?
Yes.
Fluently?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little more about the objectives of Operation Aladdin?
Nothing more to tell. We suspected the Turkish mafia were stepping up a level and smuggling more than just heroin and handguns. We wanted to stop the weapons reaching terrorist groups.
And Miss Reynolds seduced Seville Ozal in order to gain access to that group.
Befriended.
Ozal was the entrance to the group we sought to infiltrate.
You know he's confessed to the murder of 17 people over the years.
Yes.
He's also made a full confession about the warehouse massacre and the events leading up to it.
Massacre is a rather strong term to use for the murder of 3 people.
We tend to use strong terms when one of those killed was a fellow police officer. Ozal tells us that you encouraged him to carry out the murder of Emre Çelik.
Don't answer that.
You went to that warehouse with your injunction to kill Çelik ringing in his ears because that was one of MI5's objectives in Operation Aladdin.
You don't understand anything.
No more. That's it. Thank you, Superintendent. Let's go, Zoe.
This was an operation, okay, like thousands of others. It's
Except
something...
in this operation, a policeman died. Do you consider that to be collateral damage? Can you sit down, please? Both of you. May I remind you, Miss Reynolds, that you are under arrest. That you, Mr. Pierce, are attending this interview against all rules and as a result of the intervention of the Attorney General.
This whole investigation is a farce, whipped up by a police force motivated by revenge and a media obsessed with attacking the security services.
It is an investigation into a multiple murder whose victims included a brave police officer and a father of 2 young children.
Something that we profoundly regret, but for which we are not responsible.
I disagree. Miss Reynolds, I'm very sorry to have to say this, but I'm satisfied that we have the evidence to charge you.
Charge me with what?
In the case of Mehmet Salem and Hassan Doyan with involuntary manslaughter by an unlawful act. And that unlawful act forms the basis of the principal charge, which is conspiracy to murder Emre Çelik.
A slapped wrist, even if they do obtain a conviction, that's all she'll get.
One of my best officers goes on trial tomorrow. I wish I had your certainty.
Gordon's hardly known as a hanging judge. And he'll agree to all the public interest immunity certificates you want.
This should still have been dealt with internally.
Well, in the past it would have been, but the climate has changed rather dramatically. We cannot be accused of any type of whitewash, however small.
So this is an opportunity for the government to polish its tarnished liberal credentials?
What a wonderful opportunity you've given us. Botched operation, a dead police officer, his camera-friendly widow, and a media that scented blood from the start. And brave Bobbies versus shady Spooks. Whose corner do you think we want to be seen in with an election on the horizon? Things have changed.
Someone has to pay.
Someone always has to pay, Harry. At least we've ensured that it's one officer and not the whole of MI5 who are picking up the bill.
She's a fine officer, Patrick.
Oh, that's why we're only talking slap on the wrist. She may get off. Come round to the club later, I'll buy you a scotch, make amends.
You think that's all she's worth to me? Bloody scotch.
How was Lord Young?
Exactly what you'd expect from a cross between a politician and a lawyer.
There's a lot of anger about this, Harry.
Danny?
Everyone, but especially Danny.
Keep an eye on him.
Did you get the assurances you wanted?
Yes, whatever happens, Zoe will be protected.
Good. We owe her that.
We couldn't have foreseen this, Adam.
You called me.
Will you come in?
Yeah? So?
I don't know where to start, really.
Well, let's start at the point where my idiot brother stole some photos from me and you decided it was all my fault.
I told you how important trust is.
Well, that works both ways, Zoe. Well, I'm glad we've sorted that out.
Will, I'm in a lot of trouble at the moment.
What sort of trouble?
I can't tell you. But I've been very scared and lonely. What?
You know when someone has caused you real pain, and you think, what did I ever do to deserve this? So you lie awake at night hating that person, and then you see them again, and the first thing that you want to do is put your arms around them. That's kind of humiliating, don't you think?
So put your arms around me.
I'd ask you what's going on, but I know you're not going to tell me.
I can't. Please just trust me. Please. I'll contact you when it's all over, I will.
Zoe, you don't ever have to be lonely, you know that, don't you?
I'm so sorry for hurting you. You're right about not deserving it. I didn't mean it.
Come here, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay, it's gonna be all right. It's all right. I promise.
Yes, I'm here at the Central Criminal Court in the heart of the city because today is the first day in the trial of the MI5 officer known only as Officer X. Now, reporting restrictions are severe. The judge, Sir Gordon Childs, has signed a raft of public immunity interest certificates. Joining me now is the widow of the murdered police officer, Hassan Doyen. Gillian Doyen, what are your thoughts about this case?
I just want justice for myself and my children, and a sense that we live in a democracy where nobody, least of all a member of the security services, is above the law.
What are your feelings about... Well, that's Gillian Doyen heading back into the Central Criminal Court for the start of this historic case.
The Crown calls Mr. Sevelin Ozal.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Ozal. You can understand English, that is correct?
Sure.
You are currently serving 17 life sentences, 3 of which are for the murders of the individuals who concern us today. That is correct?
Yes.
You have been offered no deals to testify today?
No.
Right. Do you know the woman in the dock?
Yes.
By what name do you know her?
Sophie Newman.
Where did you first meet Sophie Newman?
I met her one night in a casino.
David, 3 and 5 split, $1,000 on each.
3 and 5, $1,000 on each. Gentlemen at the end of the table, no more bets. Number 5 wins.
Just listen then.
You appear to be in luck tonight.
It must be the presence of such a beautiful woman.
I'm with Mahmoud.
With me. Can I buy you a drink?
I don't accept drinks from strangers. Unless they just happen to have won a large sum of money at the roulette table.
Mahmoud is your boyfriend?
If he was, do you think he'd let you buy me a drink?
He wouldn't be in a position to object.
You know what? I don't like guns.
I do.
Well, why don't you buy your gun a drink? If you think that impresses me, you are very much mistaken.
Look, I left a coat and a scarf. They're very expensive.
Ozal, bu kızı götürelim buradan. Ne dersin?
Yeah, you certainly will be if you don't find it. What's your name?
Eva.
What?
Eva.
Well, Eva, unless you find my scarf, the next cloakroom you find yourself working in will be back home in Kosovo.
Actually, I'm Polish.
What did you say?
Why don't you let me buy you a new scarf?
Did your luck hold?
Depends.
On what?
Are you gonna let me take you shopping?
No, I'm not.
No guns.
Why had you and your men visited the casino that night?
I was celebrating because that afternoon I had sorted out some important business.
Çaylar 3 oldu. Ahmet. Bu nasılsınız ha? Ozal! Ozal! Yapma! Yapma! Ozal! Ozal! Mesajı uyanmaya geldik ha! Öldürmeye gitmedik! Yoksa patron bize kızabilir mi lan? Mesajı uyanmaya geldik! Yoksa patron bize kızabilir, yoksa patron bize kızabilir ha! Ha? Orospu çocuğuna bakın ha? Hadi be, hadi! Özal! Ha? Orospu çocuğu! Ha?
So who was the man who stopped you from shooting the cafe owner?
Well, we knew him as Zeki.
My lord, Zeki's real name was Hassan Doyan, and he was a police officer working undercover as part of an anti-drugs team. As usual, he was wearing a wire. Would it be fair to say that this undercover policeman saved the cafe owner's life, that you would have shot him otherwise?
Yes.
Okay. So after that, you called Sophie Newman again?
Yes.
Did you arrange to meet her?
Yes, I took her shopping. Then we went to dinner a few times.
What did she tell you about herself?
She told me that her father was in the British Army, that her mother was German. She said that her one aim in life was not to be bored.
Did anything about her seem unusual or strange?
Not really. One day, though, I found her alone in my office. What do you think you're doing?
So, where do you hide them?
Hide what?
Well, the wedding rings, photographs.
Is that what this is all about? Are you jealous?
Not jealous, no. But if some hysterical wife's going to start running after me, I'd like to know about it.
Why would she start running after you? She'd never be able to catch you. She's too fat.
So there is a wife. You know, you really shouldn't talk about her like that.
Why? It's true. She's a good cook. She eats too much of her own cooking. She's my wife.
Still, a man should always respect his wife.
This is...
Sophie Newman.
Sophie, this is my boss, Emre Chelenk.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Newman.
And you?
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some urgent business to discuss with my colleague here.
Of course.
Maybe we can all meet for dinner later. We can discuss Germany. I understand you know our friend Mahmoud.
Yes, sure. Call me later.
That was the first time, to the best of your knowledge, that the woman you knew as Sophie Newman had ever met Emre Çelenk.
As we are moving on to a new area, I feel this might be a good time to adjourn for the day.
All rise.
You're one of them, aren't you?
What?
A spy, a spook, whatever they call you.
Can't talk to you.
You think you're all powerful? You don't have to obey the same rules?
If that were true, we wouldn't be here, would we?
Well, that's thanks to some dedicated policemen who don't creep around in the dark like you do. No wonder they call you Spooks.
If we creep around in the dark, it's because we have to. Because there are people out there who also move in the dark. You can question our methods, we do that all the time. But don't question our motives. Don't talk to her again, Danny.
What was your relationship with Emre Çelenk?
He was my boss.
Did you, Çelenk and Sophie, ever socialize together?
Sure. He liked her.
And did she appear to like him?
She changed when he was around.
No, thank you. And these are the forces that will dictate the shape of our century. Al-Qaeda, American oil companies, and the East European mafia.
Remind me never to have children, then.
You shouldn't have children anyway.
Really? Why not?
You are made for better things. So you know our friend Mahmoud from Germany?
I work for an import-export company.
I know.
Ah, well, you'll also know, then, that our interests coincided briefly. When I came to London, he offered to accompany me to a casino. I love gambling.
You're in good company, then. I made Sophie a proposition. I'm going to Frankfurt on a business trip soon. I need someone with me who speaks German and knows the city.
For how long?
A weekend. How strange. One trip to the toilet and you suddenly lose your appetite.
And did Sophie Newman go to Frankfurt with Emre Çelenk?
Yes, she did.
And you were jealous, which was, of course, her intention.
That's a leading question, my lord. The witness is not in a position to comment on my client's intentions.
Rephrase the question, please.
Yes, my lord. How did you feel about that?
Bad.
And when she returned from the weekend, did she call you straight away?
No.
So when did you next see Sophie Newman?
You slept with him.
And what did you expect? You let me go away with him and you knew how much you wanted me.
He's my boss! I couldn't say no to him!
Nor could I. You know, he's a very persuasive, powerful man. He's much more powerful than you. You know what, killing me isn't going to help you. He's the one that laughs at you. Killing me is just going to make him laugh even more.
He loves me, huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill him.
No, you know, I think he's more likely to have you killed. He thinks you're weak.
Weak?
Yeah. Why don't you show me that you're not weak? Things could be very different. Why don't you show me that you care enough about me? You know what you have to do for us to be together.
yaptığını biliyorum. Ozal. Ne yaptığını biliyorum orospu çocuğu. Ozal.
Sophie söyledi bana. Sen kazandığını sandın ama o artık benimle olacak.
Ozal.
Bana her şeyi anlattı. Seni öldürmemi söyledi.
I just want to draw your attention to the phrase in the transcripts. Sophie told me what happened. She told me to kill you. And Çelenk's reply is...
O söylediyse öldüreceksin o zaman. Tell Sophie that life is only a dream.
Ozal. I'm an undercover police officer, okay? Don't. I'm married with 2 kids. Ozal. You're gonna kill me, Ozal. Ozal, please. I'm married with 2 children. Ozal, no. Ozal, don't do it. Don't do it. Please, Ozal, please. Ozal, please.
I have no further questions for this witness, ma'am.
Well, there are those that said that our investigation would be blocked and that the security services are above the law. Now, I can't comment on the details of the trial, but the fact that this is taking place proves them comprehensively wrong.
Now, what about allegations that Officer X is simply a scapegoat?
Well,
What are you doing here, Harry?
Came to see if you were okay. Grueling day.
Yeah. Yeah, the tapes were bad. They support Ozal's testimony.
Go and tidy your room, Danny.
Right.
Can I get you a drink or something?
Preparing my character witness statement.
Hope you're going to say nice things.
Well, I won't tell them about the stapler you stole. The Attorney General has assured me that even if it comes to the worst, you'll get nothing more than a slapped wrist.
Why are they letting this happen?
Because they need to slap our wrists publicly, and there's some irritation at how we lost control of the operation.
What is it?
I need to be sure, Zoe, that you will not deviate from the story that's been agreed.
Not tell the truth under oath, you mean? Heaven forbid.
This is very complex. Much more is at stake here.
I'll stick to what we agreed.
To tell the truth, but not...
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Try and get a good night's sleep.
Harry. Everything's gonna be okay, isn't it?
Of course it will.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Okay. I'd like to start by asking you some questions about the build-up to Operation Aladdin.
Right.
When did you first find out about it?
It was a Monday morning. 2 of our officers arrived with a rather strange new toy.
Les jeux sont faits. Rien ne va plus, mesdames et messieurs.
What's that for?
Look. Now, give me a color.
Red.
Odd or even? Odd. Cool. How does it work? Oh, well, some things must remain forever among the cognoscenti.
What's it for?
I believe all will be explained to you at this morning's meeting.
These are victims of the recent feuding between 2 factions of the Turkish mafia. One wing was more associated with the heroin trade, the other was involved in smuggling arms. It would appear that a decisive winner has now emerged from that battle.
This is Emre Çelenk. Ruthless, brilliant, and highly educated. He's part of the victorious gun-running wing.
Why are we interested in him?
His victory means we can expect a dramatic increase in the number of guns getting into the country.
And not just guns. He has close links to the Balkan arms route, and the weaponry is getting more and more sophisticated.
This is Sevelin Ozal, one of Çelenk's lieutenants.
And the weakest link?
Correct. We think he's our best bet for someone we can both manipulate and eventually turn.
Who are we going to get to do that, then?
We're going to turn you into just the woman Ozal will love. And through him, we get to Çelenk. Right, that's it. Zoe, let's go through a few more details about your legend, shall we?
During the briefing of that Monday morning, was it ever suggested that one of the objectives of this operation was the assassination of Emre Çelenk?
Definitely not.
What about euphemisms? Remove him, cancel his contract.
No euphemisms were used in the case of Emre Çelenk, and no such suggestion was ever made during the briefing.
Right. Now, in his evidence, Mr. Ozal made reference to an individual named Mahmoud. You arrived at the casino with him the first night you met Mr. Ozal. Can you tell us more about that?
Hey, Sam.
Zoe, this is Mahmoud, an undercover officer with the BND in Germany. He's infiltrated the Turkish mafia over there, but he's also known to Çelenk's crowd. He'll provide you with credentials.
Nice to meet you.
And you.
I believe Malcolm's already shown you the magic roulette wheel.
Yes?
Okay, Ozal goes to a casino, which is part of Çelenk's business empire.
And let me guess, we let him win handsomely.
Yes, and that's when you'll make your move. But we want to make him work hard for you.
Quite right, too.
Okay, Sophie Newman. Let's have a look at you. That should do the trick. Now let's do the voice again. Think posh and cigarette husky. Come on, Zoe, it's an important part of your legend. You're Sophie Newman. You're clever, but easily bored. You're amoral, and you want money and excitement. And what will you say when he wins?
You appear to be in luck tonight.
Yes. Nicely done, Zoe. You got a visual, Bravo 2?
Affirmative, Alpha 1. He's talking to her now.
Okay, Zoe, find a reason to blow him out.
She's blown him out, Alpha 1.
Great. Are you in position, Bravo 3?
Affirmative, Alpha 1.
Good.
Leave him at the roulette wheel, then. Mahmoud, you tell him that the lovely Sophie is slipping from his grasp and that she's leaving. Tell him she's already at the cloakroom. Love this job sometimes.
But befriending Ozal was really a means of getting closer to Emre Çelenk.
Yes.
And you first met Çelenk the day that Ozal caught you in his office?
Yes.
You've got a problem, Alpha 1. Target is returning.
I got time to get out.
Negative. Shall I request backup?
No, we'll lose the whole lot.
What do you think you're doing?
So, where'd you hide them?
Hide what?
The wedding rings, photographs?
Is that what this is all about? You're jealous?
Not jealous, no. But if some hysterical wife's gonna start running after me, I'd like to know about it.
Control, I'm worried about Persephone. She's in there with Ozal, but Emre Çelenk has just arrived with one of his heavies. I think I should go in.
A man should always.
Control?
She'll talk her way out of it. Give her a few minutes.
She might be in danger.
She is, but she's good, so she'll get out of it.
Maybe we can all meet for dinner later. We can discuss Germany. I understand you know our friend Mahmoud.
Yes, sure. Call me later.
She's done it.
How did you judge the relationship between Ozal and Çelenk?
It became clear very quickly that Çelenk utterly despised him, especially his drug use.
What are you doing with him, Sophie?
I like him. He amuses me.
He amuses you. Then you're easily amused. Apart from gambling, you don't seem to share his other vices. I mean, you're not much of a drinker or drugs.
Drugs are the most boring things in the world.
And very dangerous to our work. And they make you loose-tongued. I may liberate you from Ozal for a weekend soon. See if we can have a less boring time together.
I don't do that.
I'm not talking about one of your English dirty weekends. It's strictly business. I made Sophie a proposition.
So relations between Ozal and Çelenk were strained?
In my opinion, yes. Yes, they were.
Was Ozal aware of this?
Sometimes he became paranoid because he thought that Çelenk might be trying to kill him. I just put that down to excessive cocaine use.
What did MI5 hope to gain by you accompanying Çelenk to Frankfurt?
Intelligence on the Balkan gun-running trade and also a closer proximity to Çelenk himself.
Not to make Ozal jealous?
If that had been my aim, I wouldn't have had to go to Frankfurt to do that.
Quite. And tell us about the meeting with Seville and Ozal when you returned.
That wasn't at all as he described it. We met, and I tried to give him a present. But he began ranting again about how Çelenk was trying to have him killed, and then he stormed out.
And the first you knew of the deaths in the warehouse?
A colleague picked me up and told me that the operation was over. Obviously, we were distraught at the news of the death of the police officer on the undercover drugs operation. We had no idea of his existence.
Thank you. No further questions, my lord.
I think we'll adjourn for lunch.
All rise!
You have denied that you and Mr. Ozal were lovers. Did that never become an issue between you?
No.
So you were using the promise of sex to manipulate him. Is it common for you to use sex to manipulate people during an operation?
No.
But you're a very attractive woman. Perhaps you were recruited for that purpose?
Well, that was never mentioned at the interview.
The expensive dress, the diamonds, what were they for?
We wanted him to be attracted to me, of course, and no one denied that.
Mm-hmm. So he was buying you gifts and taking you out, and yet he received nothing in return? Or was it your sparkling conversation that so entranced Mr. Ozal?
You're totally missing the point. By denying Ozal sex, he was easier to...
Wind up? Manipulate?
To control.
It has been suggested by your defense that Mr. Ozal was very frightened of Emre Çelenk.
Yes.
But that's not supported by any of the taped conversations between Hasan Doyan, the undercover policeman, and Mr. Ozal. Do you find that strange?
It's macho culture. You don't confess fear to another man.
And while we're on the subject of tapes, can we go back to the incident where Mr. Ozal caught you in his office? What were you doing?
I was replacing a defective bug that had been providing us with a lot of useful secondary intelligence.
Good. So when you returned from Frankfurt, the new bug was up and running?
Yes.
So where are the tapes for the period after you returned from Frankfurt? We've requested them, but been told they don't exist.
There could be any number of reasons for that. Things do sometimes go missing.
Or perhaps you laid down another defective bug. Is MI5's equipment that unreliable?
My lord. I'll allow this.
So, the new bug just magically stopped working after you got back from Frankfurt, is that it?
Obviously not.
So where are MI5's records for what happened that day in Ozal's office?
We're a very large organization. Records do sometimes go missing.
Lucky for us, then, that the police aren't so careless with their evidence. Ozal, she told me to kill you. Çelenk, well, if she told you to kill me, then you must. How do you explain that?
He was lying. I can't speculate as to why.
You used Ozal's sexual jealousy to turn him into your weapon, didn't you?
No.
And in doing so, you showed a cowardly disregard for human life. Ozal was in such a rage that anybody with Çelenk would have met the same fate. But you didn't care about that, did you?
That's not true.
I think your regard for the truth is on a par with your regard for human life. The goal of this shoddy, sordid operation was the death of Emre Çelenk. That's the truth, isn't it?
No.
No further questions, my lord. Nobody is seeking to deny Sevelin Ozal's past, but he has been offered nothing to testify in this trial, and he has confessed to crimes for which he was not even...
The choice before you is clear. Believe a murderous drug addict who descended into the cocaine-fueled paranoia that his boss might have him killed, or believe a brave officer who has
In this case,
her life on the
we
line.
must put aside all talk of fine lines and grey hair. Officer X, for whatever reason, tell Sevelin Ozal to kill Emre Çelenk, and did this result in the deaths of both Çelenk? I don't expect you to reach a verdict today, and you will be sequestered at a hotel for the night.
All rise!
Zoe, you should get some sleep.
Can't.
Do you want something? Hot chocolate? Whiskey?
No. Why don't you go back to bed?
I've dealt with scarier things than missing a night's sleep, Zoe. I'll stay up with you.
But the jury are attacking their minibars now. Getting ready for that big day tomorrow.
Don't think about that.
If I don't, I just think about the face of the policeman's widow.
Tell me, Zoe.
Tell you what?
Tell me what really happened.
I know what you're talking about.
You do. I'll never repeat it to a living soul. But tell me what really happened. I'm the only person who can truly understand.
Recent feuding between two factions of the country.
Just the woman Ozal will love. Through him, we get to Chelik. Right, that's it. Zoe, let's go through a few details about your legend, shall we?
Okay.
No one outside this room knows what we're about to tell you now. It has to stay that way.
We believe Emre Çelenk may have Al-Qaeda connections.
What kind of connections?
We're not sure.
We think he works in the financial side of things.
Right, in what way?
Al-Qaeda is also a business empire. There's a lot of money to be made working for them.
The fact of the matter is, we just don't know. Çelenk is an enigma, hence the need for you to get close to him.
And the need for total secrecy about that. If we find out that he is providing services for Al-Qaeda, then we'll have to explore all our options regarding Mr. Çelenk.
Including?
All our options.
So it was part of the brief to kill Çelenk.
Come on, Danny. You know how these things work. It was vaguely hinted at as being a long-term option.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I couldn't talk about the Al-Qaeda thing in court. That was why Harry came over the other night. Make sure I didn't say anything.
So they wanted you to stay on Çelenk with the option of killing him?
Yeah, but first we needed to find out about him. That's why I went to Frankfurt. Status report from Persephone to Control. Target observed him meeting with two men that the Germans have verified as Saudis, having dinner with him. We'll report back later.
Let's have a drink. Really? You're quite safe with me, I promised. You know I don't want to sleep with you. There are things I wish to discuss with you. I might like you to do some more work for me. Are you tired?
No. I'd love another brandy.
Good.
Risky.
Yeah. A great opportunity, though.
If he didn't want to sleep with you, what did he really want?
Well, at the time, I thought it was what he said. To discuss work.
American rubbish.
You don't like Americans?
I think no better or worse of them than of anybody else. I did enjoy watching the planes flying into the Twin Towers.
Duh. It certainly made the pulse beat a little faster.
Mm.
The people jumping was awful, though.
Can't you imagine the excitement of those young men who have taken over the planes? To do something so devastating, so spectacular.
It almost sounds as though you support Al-Qaeda.
No, I'm not interested in their ideology. They're a business, as well as a terrorist organization.
But they could do something here or back in London that would kill everyone.
Why be so frightened of death, Sophie? Couple kissing down in the lobby. Boy who brought us the drinks. Who would really care if they all vanished tomorrow?
Well, their families, the people that love them.
Compare their trivial lives to those men who rushed to their deaths on that beautiful morning in New York.
Is that what you enjoy, then? Death and destroying people?
Enjoy? No, not really. But if you don't like death and destruction, I suggest you look away for the next 30 years. Because it's inevitable, and millions will perish.
You know, you make money from people who deal in death and destruction. I'm not sure that I entirely approve of you.
But there is a part of you that agrees with me, I'm sure.
And what makes you think that?
You're clever. One thing puzzles me, though. That lost child at the station.
What about it?
This is a security announcement. We would like to remind all passengers to keep your luggage with you at all times. Any unattended luggage will be removed. Thank you for your cooperation.
Okay.
saw your face. It wasn't the Sophie Newman who screams at cloakroom attendants.
How do you know about that? I've always had a soft spot for children. That other bitch happened to lose a particularly beautiful scarf of mine.
Shall I have her killed?
What?
The girl in the cloakroom. Oh? Come on, Sophie. I thought it was your mission in life not to be bored. Let's see if she's working tonight.
Let's just sit down.
One call to the casino, and one of my men can follow her to her house, kill her, and everybody in it. Osman, bu vestiyerdeki kız çalışıyor mu bu akşam? Good. She's working.
Stop it.
One person. 1,000,000 people. You or me. It changes nothing in the end. Life is only a dream. And one day we all wake up from it.
I'd like to believe that when people wake up, they'll see a kinder face than yours.
Good night, Sophie.
Under no circumstances, just when we're making such a massive breakthrough.
The trip was a huge success.
He tore my legend to pieces. He's just playing with us.
He would have killed you if that were the case.
You know, I had to sit there and listen to him telling me how much he enjoyed watching the Twin Towers come down. Adam, this man disgusts me.
Sadly, in this job, we don't get to deal with nice guys.
I don't want to do this anymore.
I am very uncomfortable that a man who thinks he can do business with Al-Qaeda is in his position.
We can't take you off the mission, Zoe.
And then?
I went to his office. I removed the bug. And I told him I'd slept with Chelink in Frankfurt.
That must have driven him crazy after all his time pursuing you.
Yeah. I didn't spare him any details either.
So you also asked him to...
I told Ozal to kill Chelink, Danny.
Why?
Because I was frightened.
For Sam?
For Sam. For myself. For the couple kissing in the hotel. For the kid who bought us our drinks. For anyone whose trivial life he deemed worthless. Danny, I couldn't see him as a potential asset or a source of intelligence any longer. Just as a man who could see no difference between one death and 1,000,000.
We make difficult decisions, Zoe, and we're denied the luxury of moral absolutes.
Yeah. Yeah, but this time, Danny, I messed up a mission. I've exposed the service to this court farce, and I caused the death of 2 other men. You know, you have to live with the consequences of your choices, Danny.
Thanks for telling me the truth. Whatever happens tomorrow, whatever the jury decides, I want you to know something.
It's okay.
I love you.
I know. I just want this to be over.
This waiting is dreadful.
No need for alarm. I've had assurances.
Harry, the jury are coming back in.
Will the defendant please stand? And would the foreman please stand? Have you reached verdicts on which you are all agreed?
Yes, my lord.
On the charge of involuntary manslaughter of Mehmet Salem, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
On the charge of the involuntary manslaughter of Hassan Doyan, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
And on the charge of conspiring to murder Emre Çelenk, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
trial of Officer X reached a dramatic conclusion today as the judge handed down a 10-year prison sentence.
You going to see the Attorney General?
I certainly am.
They've given us a political trial. Let's get political on them.
My thoughts exactly.
I better get back in and look after the team. Call me as soon as you need me.
Thanks, Adam. I'm not letting them lock her up.
A slapped wrist! A slapped wrist!
Sentence was lenient given the charges.
You implied there'd be no sentence.
That was something over which I had no control.
You've had control from the start. This was a show trial.
To a degree, yes. We were showing that this is not a state where the rule of law counts for nothing, and where a member of the security services can appoint themselves as an executioner.
Well, I hope you remember that pious bullshit the next time there's a terrorist outrage on these shores.
I hope you remember that a democracy is not only protected with guns.
So we reward the loyalty and bravery of one of my best officers with a prison cell?
There's no option, Harry.
Oh, there's always an option. Because let me tell you, a few reputations will go down with Zoe. We know where the bodies are buried. Remember?
You're playing a very dangerous game here.
So we appear to have reached an impasse.
Sit down.
Zoe's been sentenced. They're holding her. I need to know when they're moving her and where. It's Adam. No time for explanations. I need a young woman. No time for jokes either. Here's the deal. She needs to be Zoe's height and build.
What's going on?
Come with us. We'll explain on the way.
Do you not understand? No, Harry.
Okay, Danny, you've got to convince her now. It's up to you. What's happening with the stooge?
Price of silence is that her 20-year sentence for drug smuggling goes down to Zoe's 10 in an open prison. Officer X was going to get a new identity anyway.
Danny's got to convince her to do this.
Gina Hamilton. It's a pretty name.
Chile's a really beautiful country, but I won't do it.
They ask a lot of you in this job. Now I'm supposed to convince you to go away and never see any of us again.
Don't worry, you won't convince me.
Prisons aren't good places, Zoe. And 10 years is longer than it sounds.
I leave my family, my friends, leave my job.
There is no job any longer. And the gaps between visits will feel like forever.
I can't do this.
Take it. Take the passport. It's your freedom. And Harry had to threaten a coup to get it. Wait! 1 minute, please. Zoe.
I'll know who I am and what I've done.
Really? Because your name would not be Zoe Reynolds in prison.
God, it never stops.
Look, what is your real identity, Zoe? I mean, who ever really knows that? Look, if it's anything, it's the impulse that led you to decide that ordinary lives weren't trivial and that you had a duty to protect them. The question is whether you're going to allow them to put that identity behind bars for 10 years. Some lucky person in Chile who doesn't know it yet is going to meet Gina Hamilton. Maybe you'll have kids.
I'd like to have a baby one day. A little girl.
Then get away from here.
See you again.
Maybe one day when nothing matters anymore, I'll come out We'll sit by the ocean and laugh at all this.
Daddy.